G'day and welcome to Doesn't Matter. Another quick one. In today's sort of very adversarial, sort of polarised political and social diorama, I find on the brink of returning to tertiary studies, I find the culture emerging particularly from government institutions and tertiary institutions to be particularly pernicious in certain ways, and disappointing to say the very least. The role of a tertiary institution is to promote thinking, to promote rigorous thinking and the promulgation of ideas, not the right ideas, not popular ideas, not ideologically sound ideas, just ideas that have been promulgated through the academic milieu and have found some degree of traction because of their relative degree of rigour and popularity and resiliency under critique. What's happening increasingly in universities is that there is an underlying subtext of support for a particular set of ideas that people call woke ideas or PC. That includes CRT, intersectionalism, and elements of feminism, and so a whole array of postmodern ideological sacred cows. Look, all of those particular models have some benefit. They have some validity. They have a degree of rigour that can be found to be substantial, but they're also littered with rhetorical, horribly poor and unsound ideas, certainly lacking in any kind of empirical evidence and evidentiary train. You're not there. We're not there. Universities are not there to promulgate the right ideas. They're not there to teach ideological soundness. It's positively Orwellian, the degree of constraint that is being levied upon both workers and students within government institutions, within tertiary institutions, and now within corporate bodies. It's dangerous. It's dangerous in a way that I think most people are profoundly unaware of. It is very dangerous when the very core institutions, schools and universities, that are there to teach comparative education, comparative, that's a really important word, to teach at least an array of models of thinking and allow the students to develop skills to be able to pass those models of thinking rigorously, creatively and laterally, all of those. And instead they're being taught everything right down to what pronouns to use. They're being micromanaged by the commissars of the new ideology. And that is incredibly dangerous. I don't want religion, theology or ideology promulgated in our places of learning. It is incredibly dangerous. It is incredibly corrupt. It's blatant corruption. Whether it's right wing, left wing, or any other fucking wing, it doesn't make any difference. Okay? We're here to... I want to see ideas robustly discussed and debated in the places of learning. Children should never be taught a thing as if it is a fact. CRT is not a fact. Intersectionalism is not a fact. They are models of thinking that have relative points of value. How much is highly debatable, but they have relative points of value. There are much better theories around that are far more empirically and historically accurate, but nonetheless, I wouldn't see them banned. I think the attempts by some of the Republican movements in parts of the United States to ban those ideas is ridiculous. I don't believe in banning ideas. That's far too reminiscent of Nazism and Stalinism, and I won't have any truck with that. We shouldn't be banning ideas. We shouldn't be hedging ideas in so that only certain ideas are taught. We should be teaching at least a spread of those ideas and critiquing all of them. including the ones that we support, including the ones that are most rigorously supported. They should be hammered as well. In fact, the more valuable an idea is, the more we should critique it, the more we should try to improve it and polish it and make it better. And this idea of getting things, we can only teach the right things, the infantilization of the human mind in the very foundation of where we're supposed to be encouraging the rigor and resiliency of the human mind, deeply concerns me. We're supposed to be becoming stronger mentally. We're supposed to be becoming more resilient, more capable of enduring the rigor and the robustness that's required to work out all this complex shit around us and within us. And instead, we're choking, we're choke pointing the very nature and the way our brains develop as we're young in the places that are meant to be opening us up and spreading us out and making us more. It's a concern, it's a worry, and it's happening at younger and younger levels. It starts in some schools and some places as early as primary school. I don't believe that we should be teaching ideology or religion in schools. I don't believe that we should be teaching a particular set of favoured ideas. We should be teaching at least some of the more popular, some of the more accepted ideas. We should be open to expanding that. We should be open to being inclusive about ideas. That seems to be one form of diversity that's very unpopular with both the right and the left. Diversity of ideas, diversity of thinking. And that's the most important form of diversity there is, because all forms of diversity, inclusiveness and freedom and growth all depend upon that particular form of diversity. And it is the first form of diversity that authoritarianism, from whatever flavour, left or right, is one of the first forms of diversity that gets struck down, that gets cut down, and it starts in our workplaces and it starts in our educational institutions. So I'm sorry if that seemed like a little vehement, but it is a concern of mine, a big one, and it should be a concern of yours too. All right? We've got to have more open conversations. We have to be open and rigorous at the same time. We need to be able to include ideas that we don't like, we don't favour. Okay, so no, we should not be banning any ideas, any models at all. People who do that are weak. They're weak in their thinking, they're weak in their morality. Cheers.